All right, welcome everybody to our discomfort class. We all have pains, right? Some of them are people, some of them are in our body. Some of them might be, outside of ourselves, but most of it, and what we're going to talk about tonight, is what we can control inside, right? And hopefully get some options for you or people that you care about, to not be so focused on the pain. One of the things, first of all, my name is Britta Demler, if we haven't met, and I've been using oils for 15 years. And I'm just a little background. I grew up with one set of grandparents that was very focused on pain and very focused on, they're the pessimists, right? Everything, oh, it must be gonna rain, or the weather's gonna change because boy, my knee just hurts. And every time I go see grandma, we knew we were going to hear about all the aches and pains that she had, right? And then I had another set of grandparents who also had physical problems, but I never knew it growing up because they never talked about them, right? It was just part of life, and we just went on, and they had good attitudes, and they had aches and pains, but it didn't stop them from living life. So I want to start that way because I think it's important to kind of look at for ourselves, which camp am I in, right? And there are days that I'm in I want to tell you about all my aches and pains day, right? Because I just want the sympathy. But most of my life, I personally try to live it where I'm not focused on the pain or the discomfort, or and living that way. And when other people tell me about theirs, where my mind automatically goes, right? It goes to, oh, I have an oil for that, and I can help you with that, which they may or may not want to hear. Have you ever talked to somebody about oils and they're like, yeah, that's fine for you, but not for me? Yeah. So they're not ready. They're not open. It's okay. We don't have to convince them. That's not our job. We can love them where they're at and move on and keep sharing with other people, because you're going to find people that really are looking, right? So tonight we're going to talk about lots of different things. I'm going to give you a little bit of education first, and then we're going to get into actually a hands-on technique. I hope that I can still record it at the end, but we'll just see. Okay. And how that goes. So our bodies were made for movement, right? We all know that. But we have very much a sedentary lifestyle in America today, right? Or most of us do. Many of us deal with issues like joint stiffness, muscle aches, deteriorating cartilage, inflammation, swelling, and the list goes on and on. And before we started recording, I was, asked, just kind of pulling, what kind of pains do you physically have right now, or that people that you care about have? And there was no shortage of pain in our lives, right? But we, again, hopefully we don't want to spend our days focused on pain. So we're going to talk about the musculoskeletal system, kind of the basics, first of all, on how does it all work. And hopefully this will give you an idea of, because later on we're going to identify the possible types of your pain for you to identify then what oils will go along with that. Okay. So our musculoskeletal system includes our bones, joints, muscles, and connective tissues like cartilage, ligaments, and tendons. And bones support our body. They protect our organs and tissues. They store calcium and fat and produce blood cells. Sometimes we break bones or we fracture them, right? Or even stress fractures. And boy, that stops us and tells us how important those bones are, doesn't it? Or sometimes, first of all, an adult has 206 bones. So that's a lot of potential things to ache and pain, right? Joints connect two bones together and allow for movement. And muscles are made up of thousands of stretchy fibers. An adult has more than 600 muscles. Have you guys ever pulled a muscle or just had an ache or strain or whatever? Yeah, that hurts sometimes as much, if not more, as a broken bone. You can come up to our circle, man, please. You don't need to sit outside of it. Come on. That's all right. So some of the muscles are voluntary, like the ones that we use to dance or write your name, and we use those intentionally. And some of our muscles are involuntary, like the heart and the stomach, and hopefully those are working well. And those just function without us even being consciously aware. So connective tissue is also part of this system. And that includes the ligaments, which are made of tough collagen fibers that connect the bones and help stabilize the joints. So we need those, and we can have ligament tears, right? Tendons are tough and made of fibrous tissue and collagen, and they connect muscles to bones. And then cartilage protects bones from rubbing against each other. So a lot of times people know about the cartilage in your knees or your elbows or your shoulders, right? But we also have cartilage in our nose, ears, pelvis, and lungs. So lots of different places for this, right? Sorry, somebody popped up and was unmuted. Just mute everybody again. Okay, I think we're good. So when we're ready to move, our brain sends a message to activate our voluntary muscles. So if I say I want to move my arm, my brain has to say, pick up your arm, right? Arm move. And all those things are moving in there. The muscle fibers contract in response to the message. And when the muscle activates, it pulls on the tendon, which is what connects it to the bone. The tendon pulls the bone, making it move. Then to relax the muscles, the brain sends another message telling it to relax or deactivate. So the muscle releases the tension, moving the bone to a resting position. And so there's a lot of moving parts in all of this. And, I've had at different points I don't know, there's something in my shoulder that just hurts. And like, I'll go to pick up something and 9 times out of 10, I can do it without pain. And then that 10th time I'm like, oh, right. And it just like, it stops you in your tracks. I don't like living like that. And I just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna stretch it out and I'll slather some oils on it initially, and I go about my life. If I was consistent at treating this, I'd probably have a whole lot of have a whole lot better results. But so let's talk about some of the things that affect our pain, okay, or that can cause pain to our body. So we all know aging. Has anybody had more pains as you aged? Yeah, and have you ever said to your kids, yeah, you just wait till you're my age and then you'll understand why I'm moaning and groaning, right? Yeah, maybe some of you don't, but every once in a while that still comes out. We have injuries, disease, arthritis, cancer causes pain, congenital disorders. But one main area that a lot of people dismiss is actually their diet. And so, talk to me about, and you guys online as well, you can type in, how would your diet affect your pain? Do you have any ideas what's one way that diet affects your pain? Inflammation, right? So the foods we eat can cause inflammation. Or give me some ideas on what foods do you know cause inflammation?
Corn, wheat, soy.
Corn, wheat, soy, sugar. Sugar is such a big one. But oh, it tastes so good, doesn't it?
I can tell you that Brian, my husband, every day, and he will remark the morning after he gets back home from the gym, he's like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten XYZ last night because I really paid for it this morning.
Yeah.
And like clockwork, he can tell that he can't, run as hard or lift as well or whatever. And there is such a direct correlation.
Yeah. Dehydration, yes. So that goes back to our water, right? We have to be drinking lots and lots of water. Let me go back to the foods though real quick, because some things that equal pain and immobility is processed meats. So think about what, lunch meat or even, sausages. We grill a lot of brats right now. I know bacon like that. So you know what? I'm not going to give up my bacon anymore. Guess what I take instead? And we're going to talk about this, Jim, because there are some things that you just decide the payoff, what am I willing to do, right? And I don't eat bacon every day, but when Kirk makes it, oh yeah, BLTs, right? They're so good. A bacon oil, Donna says, no, I really like the taste. It's the taste and the chewing, yeah. And turkey bacon is not the same thing as real bacon, because we ate turkey bacon for a lot of years, and I'm so happy to have bacon. Okay, processed meats, fried food. How many of you love fried food, right? Yeah, it's not good on our stomach. And so when our stomachs are telling us, oh, it hurts, it's probably hello, pay attention, right? This is not healthy for me. Alcohol, which is full of sugar, soda, candy, refined grains, those all can increase inflammation in the body. We talked about gluten, but we didn't talk about dairy. Dairy is huge in that too. And it brings inflammation, it brings extra mucus in your body. So if you can't give up dairy, one of the tips I would give you is look for dairy that's processed overseas. Okay, which you might think, oh, that's weird,
Yeah.
but it's processed differently than ours. And people that have lactose issues oftentimes can eat things coming from overseas. So like Kerrygold, or the well, it's higher in sugar, but yeah. Yeah, England, but just the way that they process things and whatever is different. So Australia has a lot of cheeses.
They have to do more grass fed. And then we don't do that.
They do more grass fed over there. Yes. So I'm repeating, if you guys are like, why is she repeating everything that we're saying so that they can hear? Okay. So it's not because, yeah. All right. That's not an echo. All right. We need to also consider sources for fat. So highly processed refined vegetable oils. They're rich in omega-6 fatty acids, which isn't necessarily bad, but if we don't counter it or balance it with omega-3s, then it increases inflammation in our body. Okay. So omega-3s would include fish, avocado, nuts, and seeds. And we have omega dyes as well, right? So, and we'll talk about omega dyes in just a minute. And yes, earlier I did show sulfurzyme. So smoking can damage your musculoskeletal system. Nicotine causes your blood vessels to constrict or narrow, which causes less oxygen or less blood flow throughout the body to your major organs. So that means less oxygen and nutrients to your cells. So if you are smoking, or if you know somebody who smokes and they're in a lot of pain, they may not like that, but that would be something that I think, all we can do is start to educate, right? We can kindly educate and say, hey, I was just at this class. They were talking about this. I looked it up later. This is a study I found. I don't know if you're interested. I know that you've done this for a long time, but there are oils that could help with that, or you can get a vape pen, or just, there's even it's like a vape pen that for oils, right? I can't think of what it's called. But there are lots of options for people. Okay, so we don't have to just, well, this is just how I've always been. And then not last, but another big one is stress. So an abundance of stress causes an overactive immune system, also known as autoimmune diseases, right? And that has gotten way out of control in today's world, a lot because of diets, but also because we're not dealing with stress very well, or we're always on, right? We always have our phone. We're answering every time we can't not answer a text or a call. The demand and run, all of that is breaking down our bodies. So autoimmune diseases typically means inflammation within the body, which can cause weakness and even lead to tissue degeneration. So how do we counter it, right? Because none of this sounds very uplifting. Like now I have to give up my bacon and I need to not be stressed. And I don't know how to do that, right? So yeah, there says the next class on depression. No, because we're going to have fun tonight. Okay, here we go. All right, first thing. Activity, right? Be active, get up and move. And I should not be the one teaching this part of this class because I am often sedentary, right?
Knock it off.
Cool. It's easy to just be sitting. And I agree. I should quit sitting. I understand. Yes. But it's tough to get moving again, right? And to be like, okay, I'm going to do something proactive. But inactivity leads to stiff, tense muscles, which can worsen things like arthritis, cause unnecessary stress on your joints. Weak muscles also put you at a greater risk for injury and it says compensation. I don't know what that means. That doesn't make sense. So do your best to get regular exercise to strengthen and stretch your muscles. And this should increase circulation and help alleviate pain you're currently experiencing. So, and this might just be, I get up and I take a walk around the block, right? It doesn't mean I'm going to go train for a marathon tomorrow, but it's just that I get up and move. Or if I'm I'm at work and I can't go outside, I could get up and walk around my desk 5 times, right? People might be like, what are you doing? But if you just say, and I have actually one friend who every hour her Fitbit goes off or whatever, and she gets up and she moves for, 100 steps. right? And sometimes she's just walking in place for 100 steps. And she's done that at my house sometimes. I'm like, what do you do? Oh, your phone, your watch went off, didn't it? And she's like, yep, gotta get my steps in. Okay, so that's, she's doing it. And I'm like, oh, I should probably, and so I usually will get up and move with her, but I can't wear a watch. So I don't have that. I should set it on my phone, right? Okay, eat anti-inflammatory mineral-rich foods. So vegetables containing sulfate. So I'm going to give you a list, like broccoli, cauliflower, garlic, cabbage, and onions. Those all actually can help build cartilage. And then fruits and vegetables that contain bioflavonoids like blueberries, blackberries, cherries, cinnamon, acai, red cabbage, and onions. These can all help strengthen connective tissue and encourage collagen production. And did you know Ningxia Red contains a lot of those fruits, right? So what other new product do we have that contains, there you go, Ningxia greens, right? If you're not drinking your greens, you need to get this product. Because I'll tell you what, I do my greens and my collagen, I blend it up really well. And then I pour in a whole lot of Ningxia because I just like the tartness of the Ningxia with that. But I am not eating as much as what I've found in the last week. I'm like, why am I not hungry? Right. And I'm not even snacking like out of boredom. I mean, I might go to the fridge now and I'll be like, okay, I'm hungry. I think I'm hungry. But when I look in there, I'm like, yeah, nothing looks good. It's so weird. And I think I've connected it just today. I think it's the greens. My body is getting nutrients that I'm not eating junk on anymore, right? So that's encouraging. Yeah. So what I do is I drink my coffee every morning because, we're all in our own stages. And when I'm done with my coffee, I wash out my coffee cup and I fill it half full with water. And then I put in a scoop of Ningxia greens, and I forgot to bring those tonight. I do my greens and my collagen. And then I stir it, I mix it. So I have a frother like this at home, right? You can get them on Amazon. And so it mixes really well. And then sometimes I'll drink a little bit of that. So it's 4 to 6 ounces probably of water with that, right? And then I probably add 3 to 6 ounces of Ningxia, just 4. I don't know. Sometimes I think it's probably more. I don't ever fill it clear up, but it's probably actually 2 or 3 ounces. But if it's too greeny still tasting, then I'll add more Ningxia. So I only have to do that occasionally. And so, well, if you've ever drank spirulina like straight, it's horrible. So this is way better. Yeah. And like, it's a double win for me now because I am not eating all day. Like, I'm just shocked by that. So.
The scoop of collagen in there. That was at 30th. On my way here. And still not. I'm starting to feel some hunger, but.
Nice. So for the online, Luann said she had her coffee this morning with the Pure Protein Complete, right? And she did a scoop of collagen as well this morning about 10:30 and mixed it up, drank it, and she has not been hungry all day and just realized on the way here that she hasn't eaten and is just starting to feel a little bit hungry. So try these things. Online, they say that they use the Vitality drops with the greens and collagen. That's a good idea too. So
I've been using the turmeric.
Oh yeah.
And that has such a good, it's very sweet. It is. It's yummy though.
Yeah.
Mango and the rose.
Yeah. And you're using this with what?
The collagen and the Ningxia.
And the greens.
And the greens, yeah.
Okay, so Skyla's adding turmeric to it. Also, to her needs, her greens and collagen and Ningxia to meet her needs with the turmeric. And we're going to talk about turmeric in just a minute. Yeah. Yeah, the turmeric would add good flavor. Yeah. So the whole point of this discussion is try different things and then come back and tell us what you try, right? Yeah, and if you need a carbonation, you could add zinc to it. Yep.
I can't do that anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, one other thing about diet and anti-inflammatory foods is bone broth, which is rich in collagen. It contains tons of joint healthy ingredients like glucosamine and chondroitin. which we have supplements for, as well as calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, silicon, and sulfur. So you can also look, and you can get little cups of bone broth, pre-made, or you can just boil chicken bones, right? And, or, well, chicken or beef bones, or, you know, well, chicken and beef, and yeah, turkey, poultry, and pork and lamb, not pork. I don't think pork, but those are to give you the type 2 collagen that are good for your bones and your joints. Okay, bones, joints, cartilage. Okay, other foods like chia seeds, flax seeds, beans, chickpeas, eggs, and healthy fats like avocado oil and ghee, Ghee, ghee. Have you guys tried that? It's clarified butter.
Yeah, it's non-dairy.
Yeah, non-dairy butter. So, and you can add that to your coffee as well. So it's part of the bulletproof coffee, right? So foods containing omega-3 fatty acids can help reduce inflammation in the body also. And then I mentioned, and I showed earlier, omega Gies. This is our omega-3 fish oil complex. It's formulated with vitamin D3, CoQ10, and essential oils, right? So this is a great supplement. You guys have all seen this? Okay.
How many capsules are there?
There are 120 capsules in here,
How many?
and it's recommended to take 2 to 4 capsules twice daily.
Okay.
So, but you know what? Even if you just get 2 in a day, it's better than nothing. Yeah, here we can pass these around. And then this is my favorite, and this is the capsules. It's sulfurzyme, and this has sulfur and I'm sorry, not sulfur. Yeah, MSM and Ningxia wolfberry. Okay, that's what's in here, and I love this because this is what I can tell if I'm inflamed, or if I'm in pain. It's usually an inflammation issue for me, and this is a godsend. Okay, I'm going to talk about oils in just a little bit with that, but this is one of my favorites. They also have it as a powder, so if you like the powder stuff, you could add sulfurzyme powder to all your other concoctions in the morning as well. But you'd probably want to have a little bit more water to it.
I literally opened the cover this morning and each day gets sulfur.
Oh, well, it's a lot. They're different size. Skylar dumped powder, the sulfurzyme powder in her hand,
Seriously?
thinking she was getting new capsules. So the powder has a prebiotic in it. The powder does, yeah. And it has, well, does it have stevia in it now, the powder? Yeah. It has a pre. Yeah, the powder does. I don't like the stevia in it. Yeah, it's the stevia that you're tasting. Yeah. So sulfurzyme makes sparkling water really fizzy. Okay, so we talked about stress earlier, right? So stress can trigger inflammation and accelerate the aging process. So if you don't want to look older, you need to get your stress under control. So find ways to incorporate rest and relaxation into your schedule, allowing your body to get proper sleep that it needs. And I just did a class last night. We talked about EMFs. So if you're going to bed with this in your hand or by your bed, you need to get it out of your room first of all, and you'll get better sleep. But what other ways do you guys use for relaxation or to help you sleep? And type it in as well, you guys. Essential oils in a diffuser. What's your favorite?
Peace and calming right now, or cedarwood and orange.
So peace and calming or cedarwood and orange together. Okay, that sounds good. Valor on your body or in the diffuser? Okay, all of it.
Just some nights you bathe in it.
Okay.
on the sheet.
Some nights you got to bathe in Valor. Okay. Well, I bet you don't snore though when you bathe in Valor, or whoever you're sleeping with doesn't snore, because that's a good thing. Yes. What else? CBD Calm. Okay, that's a big one. Donna says she can't even get time to read a whole page before she's knocked out. So online they're saying Sleepy Eyes, which is a great one to help shut your mind down, and ImmuPro. How many of you guys everybody tried ImmuPro? I know it's not back yet. I think next month it's supposed to come back.
My son, Pepper.
Peppermint.
Son, no.
Okay.
And he says peppermint helps when he was little. He said it
parks all of his thoughts so that they're done.
Oh,
So
and how old was he?
he's 13 now, but he said that when he was about 8. He said, and he rubbed it on the back of his neck, and he said it just stopped his brain from racing.
So Heather says that her son, when he was 8, would use peppermint. And he said it would stop his brain from racing. But what was the quote that you said?
It parked his thoughts for the night.
It parked his thoughts for the night. Isn't that sweet? I love that. So, and that's just a great example though, too, of how oils react differently to each person, right? Because for most of us, it would probably, if I put peppermint on, I'd be like, whoa, okay, I've got energy and let's go do stuff.
He was like, Mom, I want peppermint. And I'm like, not before bed.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, he's asking for it. So
Yeah.
it's not a school night, so let's try. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're asleep already.
Yeah. So, and he's on the ADD. He has ADD on the spectrum. So we don't know how people's brains are going to react, right? So the whole point of that, I don't know if it's going to work for you guys or for your, your person that has that, but it's just another tool in your arsenal that you can offer them. And maybe you offer it to them during the day and see if, does it give them energy or does it help them relax and breathe? Because sometimes we just need to breathe. I was talking to a friend today and I asked her a question and she sent me this big long text and how overwhelmed she was. And I just kept saying, I think I responded twice, you just breathe, right? Because we're so in our to-do lists and so in our thoughts and we just have to go back to breathe. Okay, I've told my daughter that a lot in the last 2 days as well. Okay. Cortisol is a godsend for many people living in fight-flight mode. So if you know somebody who is constantly on the go or under stress, or if you find yourself, when I find myself like I am going to bite your head off if you say one more thing to me, which every once in a while happens because I've stuffed, right? And then it's like, okay, I've got to go get cortisol. And boy, within 2 doses of that, I'll take 2 right then and 2 the next day, and I am a different person. So if my stress isn't done though, I'll stay on it for a while, right? And then I just like my body, I guess I'm tuned in enough that I don't really, I'm like, I go to get them. I'm like, oh, I don't think I need those today. Okay, but you can muscle test for them. You can, I think the bottle says stay on it for 3 weeks, maybe. You can take up to 4 a day. So you can take, if I'm that stressed, I usually take 2 in the morning and 2 at night. But just pay attention to your body and see what it needs. Okay. All right. Epsom salt soaks. Does anybody if you have sore muscles or joints, hopefully you have tried an Epsom salt bath or a soak. And I'm not a bath person. So like whenever I talk about this, I'm like, oh, wah, 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 wah. But I love soaking my feet in a tub of Epsom salts, right? And that is so refreshing. So, and it's also very relaxing. So don't get hung up on, oh, I don't take baths. Soak your feet and you'll be thankful that you did. It does help get the toxins out of your body. Yep. Epsom, when you add Epsom salt to the mix, you're adding in magnesium and sulfates, and those are easily absorbed by the skin. And it can help reduce inflammation and ease the body's aches and pains. And then remember, because I just had a question recently about, okay, they're taking a bath and they have Epsom salts but the oils burn them. And I'm like, okay, did they add the oil to the Epsom salt? No. So they threw the Epsom salts in the tub and then they put the oil on top, right? So guess what happens? The oil stays on top and not in the Epsom salts. It's not dispersed in the water. So make sure that you put it even, right away. You can take your cup of Epsom salts, put your oil in it, mix it up, right? Then throw it in your tub. So, because you don't want it separated. Okay. So what do you like to put in your Epsom salts? Anybody and everybody. So, lavender and stress away. You can put that in Epsom salts too. Lavender and rosemary. Okay. Anybody else?
I put Valor in everything.
Heather's just Valor. Valor's her answer.
That's my go-to.
All right.
Answer when all else fails.
Tangerine in a bath and Epsom salts. Okay.
On your feet is
When my husband has inflammation, he puts fennel.
Fennel for inflammation. Interesting.
Helps with the gout. Fennel does.
Okay, so she's saying fennel helps with, well, it helps with his gout. And we're just you know what? We're telling actual stories of things that help. So I think we're going to be okay here. So we're just going to share. So I'm going to show you Heather. You can see she's talking.
Yeah, Yeah, so when he uses, when his feet are swollen and sore, he likes to put a little funnel in his Epsom salts and take a bath.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. And Luann had mentioned peppermint earlier. Kirk does that when he gets home from work a lot of times. He'll soak his feet in peppermint water because his feet hurt. You know, just, I don't know what it is, but they just are tingling or sore or been on them too long, whatever. Okay. You could try copaiba, eucalyptus radiata, Panaway, wintergreen, really any combination, right? Depending on what you're looking for. And one other option with magnesium that we have that's really good is the Kid Scent Unwind. So it's a magnesium rich supplement that may help you rest as well. So even though it says for kids scent, it doesn't mean that it's only for kids. Cami says all her empty bottles go in a jar of Epsom salts. Mine do too. So my Epsom salts is always a mix of, I have no idea, but it's good. And Kara says Northern Lights Black Spruce is her everything. So it's her valor. So isn't that fun that we get, we get those certain ones that we're like, oh, this is what it is. This is it's my thing, right? And that's okay. Okay, so let's talk about supplements. We've talked about a few already. Okay, so calcium is one of the ones that it builds strong teeth and bones. It's needed for muscle growth. Our body doesn't produce calcium naturally though, so we have to, normally we would get it from food. However, our food is, oftentimes our diet is depleted in real food or real nutrients. So if you would want to supplement, you might want to consider Super Cal Plus, which I forgot to grab. It's a synergistic blend of bioavailable calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D and K and some trace minerals. So it's a great one just to help with bone structure, right? It also, it would help with healing. Yep. Super Cal Plus. So I usually take it at night and I always have really good digestive support in the morning. So things are moving.
If something upsets my stomach, like if I take it in the morning, that taking it at night.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a huge. And then you go.
Yeah, so we're talking about taking it at different times. If it upsets your stomach at one time, try it at a different time and just see what happens.
Maybe you could take it with like something fatty, like avocado. Yeah. To help your stomach break it down.
Okay, or take it with something fatty like avocado to help break it down. So good. Okay, so we did, Skyla mentioned this one earlier, golden turmeric, which is a great, this is an anti-inflammatory herb, herbs like turmeric are great for your musculoskeletal system. This is a mango rose flavored turmeric drink mix. It supports the body's natural response to inflammation, immune response, joint health, mobility, and recovery after physical exertion. And we can try it later if you want to help make that, okay?
Can I tell you a funny story?
Yeah, if you say, come up here and say it loud enough so they can hear, then I don't have to repeat it.
So I gave my grandmother some turmeric and I told her to use it every day, and I guess she didn't read it. So she mixed it with a lotion and applied it to her hands every day because it was her hands that hurt. And she said it wasn't really helping and she was turning orange.
Oompa Loompa big time.
So it's important to read the directions or to tell somebody for them.
Very clear directions.
That's funny.
Yes. It took months before it was.
So here, we'll pass it around and we'll try it. We can mix it up later. Okay, another really great option is Amino Wise. Hopefully you guys are all using this, right? This is a great one. Kirk uses this, especially when he's out after he comes in from mowing or before he goes to mow. It's a little electrolyte reestablishment is what this is. But it enhances muscle performance, reduces fatigue, supports muscles during and after exercise, using triple targeted formulas that features branched chain amino acids, premium essential oils, antioxidants, and minerals. Okay.
How many?
So we'll try that
you
too.
do it one scoop of it?
One scoop, yep. And I think it said 18 scoops. Oh, and an extra tip, if you have one of those bottles of powder, when you get it, it's going to be packed down, right? So before you open it, or even every few days, just kind of shake it and you'll see it gets so much lighter instead of that powder, it's packed down. And this one I just opened tonight and I had to dig for the scoop, and boy, I'll tell you what, that stuff was packed in that scoop. So if I would have used that, or if Kirk would have used that immediately, it would have been a really strong, powerful Amino Wise drink for him. So, and he probably would have used 2 doses, right? So make sure that you do that to just kind of loosen things up. Okay.
Mix it with water?
Yep, you can mix them with water. I mean, if you're like, oh, I want to mix something else, you could do coconut water. You could add it probably to milk of some kind, but water I think would be better. So it does have stevia in it as well. So just so you know, you'll get that aftertaste. All right, BLM. How many of you use this? Anybody? BLM? Okay, bone, ligament, muscle. So guess what? It's going to help, right? Bone, ligament, muscles. And this is really, really good. So this has powerful ingredients such as type 2 collagen, MSM, which was in sulfurzyme, glucosamine sulfate, and manganese citrate. I had to think how to say that one. So this is a great one. And then the other one is Agiles, okay? And this is a joint health supplement that supports healthy cartilage, flexibility, and mobility, and the body's natural response to inflammation after exercise. And this also has frankincense powder in it, which comes from our boswellia trees. And boswellia contains chemical compounds that can help naturally reduce the body's response to inflammation. Did you know that? Which is why frankincense is so good, right? So the powder is in Agiles, and it has UC2 undenatured collagen, which the type 2 collagen is good for the bone and joints and cartilage. And essential oil blend of wintergreen, copaiba, clove, and Northern Lights black spruce. So this can help protect your joint and cartilage health and gain greater mobility and flexibility through the reduction of inflammation. And here's the other thing that I want you to notice with this one is that, what color is it? Hopefully you can see that. It's very yellow, right? It has turmeric in it and black pepper, right? So
I don't have to get turmeric. I can buy it. Go.
So yeah, so this will help with that as well. Now, if you really, generally, for me personally, I have taken sulfurzyme for years, and I've started taking when Agiles came out, I started taking this at night, right? Because I think it's just 2 a day that you're supposed to take this. But there was sometimes that I could not get through my pain, and it was just like I just was achy, and that's when I would add BLM back in. And you guys, that combination of the three someday, and I don't do it very often or for very long, but sometimes it can just help get through all of that. So you're like, okay, well, that's, probably $150 in it with these two in sulfurzyme. And you might be like, that's a lot of money to spend. Well, do you want to live in pain or do you want to have options? Because you don't have to buy them every month necessarily. You find the one that works for you, every day, or, if I know that my pain comes with my menstrual cycles, let's say, then I'm going to use it around that time, right? Or, and maybe even then you might want to look at Endogize or hormone support instead. But so think through that and don't be afraid to, use more than one of them if need be. Okay, so let's see, any testimonies on BLM, sulfurzyme, or Agiles individually or together that anybody wants to share? Say it real, come up here and say it real loud, please.
I started taking both of them every day about 5 or 6 years ago. And I was having a lot of joint pain. And after I started taking them, as I tell people, the absence of pain is not noticeable. Literally within 2 weeks, I figured out I wasn't hurting anymore.
Nice.
It was great. And so I just take them every day, no matter what.
Okay, good. That's a great story. Anybody
I
else?
love the Agiles. It helps with my knees. I
Yeah.
hurt my knee dancing when I was like 18, and I can tell when it starts to hurt.
Sorry.
Just take that, and it's not even necessarily like consistently.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, and if I probably took it consistently, it probably wouldn't start to hurt. But there are some times when you're just like, have to pick your human. Yeah.
Sometimes we're a little slower than other times, right?
But I can tell very quickly. It doesn't like take weeks to kick in and start to make a difference.
Yeah.
I love the fact that, in a day, it's like, wow, I can really feel the difference.
Yeah. Which is really what we want, right? Supplements are meant to supplement that. Ideally, we don't take them for the rest of our life, although sometimes it's like, well, I'd rather take them than be in pain again or have the issue. So, okay, we are going to move on to this page that's in the Google Drive. Okay, so hopefully you can pull this up Oh, and so Tricia says it's better than taking over the counter stuff every day, which I absolutely agree. And BLM helped Sandy's knees. So good. And again, everybody's body is different. So that's why I love that we have so many options that when one doesn't work, we can try something else. But don't get rid of the ones that you think doesn't work right now, because it may work for you in a month, right? Or in a couple months, that might be exactly what you need. So it's okay.
If you would start out with one, which would you recommend, the BLM or the LG?
Well, it depends on what the issue is. So we'll talk about that with you afterwards. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So make sure you ask me. Okay. So oils for, this says essential oil support for sources of discomfort, right? So let's talk about if your discomfort comes from what you would think is bone pain, then wintergreen would be an oil that could help with bone discomfort, right? C is for circulation. So think about C for circulation. You know, like it just feels like I can't move, or like I'm swollen down here or whatever, right? So that would be cypress. I for inflammation. So think about copaiba and peppermint. Cypress also would help with inflammation because it's going to get things circulating and moving, right? L for ligaments, so think lemongrass or helichrysum. M for muscles, so marjoram, and V for virus or and oregano, because we all know that oregano is going to really attack that. So if you're in discomfort or in pain, and you guys can think about this for yourselves as well. Identify, first of all, what do you think the pain is stemming from? Is it stemming from, I broke my foot, or I have a stress fracture, or I'm inflamed? Is it stemming from a muscle ache, or your labrum, right? You said, so that's tendon cartilage, right? Yeah. So I would still probably look at like marjoram there for you. But think about it in that way, okay? And then what we're going to do is you can identify 1 to 10 this on a scale, with 10 being the worst, and what rating would you give your pain? Because then as we start applying oils, then you can identify, okay, is this helping me? Is it not helping me? Am I getting some relief? It's gone down 2, it's gone down 5. Gosh, I'm out of pain right now. This feels great. Then you'll know that this is something that my body wants. Right? This might work well for my body. So I was talking with my daughter about this, and she has a friend who she fell and has some injuries. And so we talked about, I said, here are the oils. You guys got to figure out which ones work for her, right? So I sent them with her. And what we're going to do, how many of you know what VitaFlex is? Anybody? Okay, so it's a technique that you're going to do, and you're going to put all your fingers together, and you can do it right here on your arm. Okay, so all your fingers, and I don't know if you can see, like my fingers are bent, so they're all together here. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to go over to the nail bed and then back to the pad in your hand. Okay, and nail bed to pad. And so what we're going to do, you're going to work on this on your arm to practice it. You're not going to go flat. You're going to keep them, it's a very quick little movement. Okay. And we're going to take this to our feet, ideally, is what we're going to do. Okay. If you're like, oh, I can't reach my feet, you could do it on your hands. Hopefully you've seen the hand chart and the foot chart, right? So this is the feet chart. You guys have seen this before, VitaFlex, reflexology. Okay, so you can do it on your hands as well. But what we really want to do is here on the feet, we're going to work up the spine. Okay, so work up the outside of the foot, up the big toe. Okay, just like what we would do for raindrop. And when we get to the recipes that I've made, as I was putting them together today, guess where I got most of the oils to put in these? Out of this kit. So if you're looking for a really economical way to have a lot of oils on hand, grab a raindrop kit, because not only does this come with oil, it comes with Ortho Ease and B6, right? So, and I don't know how much it is now, but I mean, look at all these beautiful oils, right? And this is an old case, but obviously because it's old oils, it has Valor. Yep. So there you go. But you get all these other oils as well, and this is a great way to include your, increase your collection and to have a lot of and inflammation and health oils, right?
What's the difference between ortho,
So orthoes is more for like the common person. It's not as strong of oils, aches and pains, yeah. And sport would be more for like I'm a marathoner, endurance, yeah.
Intense.
So one of the recipes I shared tonight, well, I guess I can share it with these guys too now. It calls for Ortho Sport. I didn't have any, the back formula one, but I put in Ortho Ease tonight, okay? And you guys, I'll tell you what, that Ortho Ease is like the best godsend, or that back recipe is the best godsend ever. It's so amazing. I told Kirk I was gonna make it tonight. He's just like, oh yeah, that stuff is good. We'll use it. So he was excited I was having it. The back one, yeah. And I have those so you guys can try them if you want. All right, so we're gonna do, like I said, up the foot, okay? So, and down here actually is where the hip comes in. So if you have hip issues and also your coccyx, so you know, the bottom of your spine is down here also, okay? If you have sciatica issues, I don't know if you can see this right here, it's kind of right here in the middle of your foot. So that would be a place where you could put it on if you're having these issues, okay? So what we're gonna do is we can grab oils if you want to share your feet or pull your feet out. If you don't want to, that's fine too. But let me see if I can just do this. So wait, here, hold on. Ideally, you don't want to have rings on. You don't want to have jewelry on. Don't have your phone on your body, so take it off, put it aside. It will be okay not to be paying attention to your phone for a few minutes. Ideally, you want to take your jewelry off, but I'm gonna pass these around. So if you want to do it, you can. If you can't reach your feet, again, you can do your hand and it's right here along your thumb, okay? So, well, for raindrop, you want to start right. You want to do right hand to right foot.
Okay.
And so ideally, you're going to do that here as well, okay? So, but you're gonna, you know, it's awkward. If you need to do your hands, you're gonna start down here, okay, in the palm fatty part, and you're gonna work your way up your thumb. So you're gonna put a couple of drops of oil, and we're gonna start with wintergreen. Everybody start, it does suggest that you start with wintergreen, just because it's good to identify, is this bone pain? And sometimes we don't know what it is, right? So then you're gonna do a couple of drops in your hand. You're going to activate it a couple of times. So wintergreen, and there's more. Sarah, if you want to grab over here too. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, you guys can just keep it there. Okay. All right. So you're going to activate it a couple of times with your hand, right? And then you're going to put it on your foot, and you're just going to go up your spine, up the edge. Look at my foot.
That's nice.
Okay, and then activate again. We're gonna do it just like we would with raindrops. So we're going back to the, down here to the foot, the base there, and I'm gonna work my way up my foot again. Okay, so you're just, yeah. And ideally, what VitaFlex does is it sends like little, it wakes it up. And so it's, think of it like sending little electrical currents into that area to say, hey, pay attention. Okay, so it's different than just rubbing it on. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, just rub it on, it's fine. If you're doing it for your hand, you can do it here. And just, it's more important to get the oils on your body than it is to worry about the technique sometimes, right? So, yeah, yeah. And then you can go ahead and do the other foot too. Yeah.
At the same time, no? Or
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I put my oils here in my hand. I'm just going up. Okay, and you can see it's just a rocking motion back and forth. So if you want to just do it up your hand, you can do it up your hand too. Okay. All right, and then you're going to need oil in your other hand. If you want to do it on the other foot, rub your hands together again. Skyla's taking my picture. All right, this is harder. So left, right. So you're going to go up. I should make you come and do my feet for me, Skyla.
Oh, you should, but.
Okay, got to reactivate it 3 times ideally. And again, back into the, you're just kind of going up your foot, okay? No, it's just, you just roll it over. Yeah, you just roll. I did a reflexology class and that's all done with the thumb. So if you want to just do the thumb, right? And then, I don't, it's kind of like a over and back up your spine too, okay? Okay, so now ideally you're gonna get up and you're gonna move around, walk around a little bit and see, does that help? Okay, so, you know, like actually my back is a little bit sore right now, so I'm gonna rub what's left on my hands right onto my back, but I could feel that already that was kind of helping just by doing that on my feet, okay, with wintergreen. So for me, this means that part of my pain right now is bone related, right? So how does that feel for you? Yeah, okay. Anybody notice anything? Do you feel like oh, it's a little bit better? You can get up and walk if you need to. Just kind of stretch and see if did that help? No difference for you? Okay, so you're gonna go to marjoram next. Okay, I do, yep, right there. So on the bottom of this paper, it says you don't have to apply the oils in order, but it's best to start out with wintergreen. Again, let's just identify, is it a bone issue right away? And then good to follow with marjoram because that's for muscles. And then lemongrass to see, because lemongrass is for ligaments, right? Ligaments, tendons, connective tissue. And to see where the discomfort's coming from. So bone, muscle, or ligaments. And then go ahead and see what else could be causing the problem. If it's circulation, inflammation, or maybe viral activity. So just the whole point of it is just to try different things. Okay. So here I think they're trying marjoram over here. Do you guys want to try marjoram too? Your brain is a muscle. Yeah. So another one, and I brought this, I believe I brought it, is basil. I just found out that basil is one of, it's one of the highest, it has one of the highest anti-inflammatory properties to it. So this would be another one for inflammation, you know, just to help to control, right? And you can see it's a vitality oil as well. So we could add this to other things if we needed to. Basil also, I think is basil in here? Basil is in the raindrop kit, folks. So, yeah. Yeah, mine is too. I have a lot of it. So this is a great option for that as well. So you can, and if you have other favorite ones, you know, that you're like, well, I really like aroma seeds, try it. Put it on, because you just, again, everybody's body is different. And so each person is going to react differently. How did that help? Okay. So Sarah has some hip issues and it's feeling a little bit better. So yay. Yeah. Well, I have that also, if you want to try that on your foot. Okay. Okay. So let me just wrap this up. You guys can keep trying oils. Okay. If you're here, I would encourage you, if you are watching this, that you try this technique with the wintergreen, cypress. Go ahead and go through the list if you have the oils. If you don't have those certain oils, then think about what could I substitute? Grab your reference guide and check it out and see what other oils would be similar in properties. Okay. So if you are new to Young Living and you're new to this and you're like, I don't know what to do next. I'm kind of intrigued. I want to learn more. First of all, yay for being open. Okay. And what your next step would be is to get with whoever shares this video or invited you to this class and tell them I need more information or I'm ready to get started. And they will happily get you set up with your own customer account where you get to purchase whatever you want. Now, the best way to do this is to either the best way to do it still, I think, is to buy a starter bundle, because you're going to get a whole lot of oils or a whole lot of products for a huge, huge savings. Plus, it will unlock your wholesale discount of 24% off of retail for a whole year. Okay. So for 12 months, which is awesome. If you're not ready for that, you can mix and match, pick whatever you want. The other way to unlock our discount is to put one item on subscription or on loyalty rewards, which is like our subscription program. And that will unlock the discount for you as well. So we can't wait to welcome you to our community. And probably what will happen to you when you start, we'll give you lots of education. Hopefully you'll find that we are fun to be around and to hang out with too. And then start inviting people, and you'll share oils with people, and you'll say, hey, I just heard about this, and it may help you too. That's how easy it is to share. And Young Living makes it super easy to, they compensate us for sharing as well. So that's the next step. But whatever step that you're ready for, we want to welcome you to our community. We can't wait to get to know you better. So get with whoever shared this with you, or message me, and we will get you hooked up and get you started and on your way to wellness. Have a great night, and thank you for joining me.